Welcome to The Mix, a fusion dance podcast where we dive into the world of blending dances and all that comes with it. We're talking about everything from the highs of nailing that perfect combo to the lows, emotional, and mental challenges and more. And if you're new to the dance scene, don't worry, we've got you covered with practical tips to help get you started, feel comfortable, and most importantly, have fun. So come on in. We can't wait to dance with you. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Mix, a Fusion Dance podcast. Today, I will be having Kaylin interviewing me
Yeah.
because a few weeks ago, probably by the time I release this, it'll be like at least a month ago. I took a trip to the Middle East.
Ooh.
I know people are gonna be like, "What? How was it? Was it dangerous? What?" This is why I didn't tell a lot of people because I knew I was gonna get that reaction. My dad doesn't even know that I went. So, anyways,
Ooh. That's
yeah.
controversial.
Mm, 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 mm. Anywho,
Dang. Okay, so boom, right off rip. What was it like? Oh my gosh, where'd you go? By the
okay.
way, I'm Kaylin. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, right. I'm Trang. I
Yeah, it's cool, it's cool, it's
forget.
cool. Yeah,
Um,
so where'd you go? I mean, you were gone for a while, right? So like, where'd you go? What was it like? Tell me about it.
why are you trying to a Valley girl?
I don't
Oh
know.
my God. What if we spoke like this and be like, we're from LA? And
We are.
my ears are already hurting. Uh, you know what I regret? Way back in the day before, this like 10 years ago, I traveled to like Asia, Australia, and what other? I'm starting to lose track now. And I didn't know partner dancing yet. I wonder
Mm,
what those dancings are like, you know. Anyhow, in Europe too. So, anyways, so Middle East, I went to the Gulf countries. So that's like if you look at Saudi Arabia, it's like that, and the countries to the right. So like Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar. It's starting to get all mixed up now. After a while, it's all blur. So those are like the rich countries, but they're a bit more, I'd say like modest. Like I guess I can say conservative, but I'd say like modest. So, um, they're say more like women and men don't hang out. So like for example, when we have IHOP and Denny's and things like that, you know, it would I that wouldn't exist, afterwards where we have mixing of discussions and whatnot with opposite gender. So yeah, there UAE, United Arab Emirates is a bit more like an international hub. A lot of international cultures are there. So
mm,
that was the only place in that area that I can find partner dancing easily, at least somewhat. It makes me realize that it's really hard to find dance socials, like their SEO or, whereas in America, I feel like it might be easier if you had did a quick Google search, you'll see
mhm.
it there. So it's just something to think as an organizer, like how would people find you? How would they find your classes, your dances, or even your dance socials? So, anywho, so UAE, then I went to Egypt and then Jordan and Turkey. And so the two places that had a dance scene was Istanbul, Turkey, and UAE, so Dubai. Everything else was either non-existent or developing, So it made me again like be really grateful to be as overwhelmingly as we have way too many events going on in LA, at least there are options, right? So in Turkey and UAE,
Mhm.
it was mainly salsa, bachata, and kizomba. So the
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the 2 dance socials I went were actually, like, those 3 dances. They would have 3 different rooms. Or no, I take that back. In UAE, they had just 1 room. It was at the JW Marriott Hotel in a
Mm,
bar with a floor that was a little bit too slippery. And so it was probably, like, 3 or 4 salsa songs and maybe, like, 2 bachata songs and then 1 kizomba. It was kinda like that.
yeah,
Uh, and then the one in Turkey was in a big, it looked like a corporate building, and it was on the 5th floor, and if you ever been to Turkey, especially Istanbul, there's cats everywhere, just stray cats everywhere. I'll post it as a video on our
yeah.
Instagram, but it's the 5th floor, and somehow a stray cat just walks across the floor while the teacher is teaching class. It's kinda like their cats there are like squirrels here, they're just everywhere, in the
Mm,
park, everywhere, and the tourists and the locals feed them and treat them really well and stuff like that, so and then when I was dancing, in the bachata room, this, like, very chunky this is, like, one of the highlights of my trip, like, a chunky cat just comes through the dance floor, and I, like, stopped my dance, and I was like to my lead, I was like, "I'm sorry, I have to record this." And it just lays kind of like, on the dance floor and people just kind of try not to dance around it and it's just chilling there,
Mm,
so that was cute. Anyways, but yeah, so that was it. It was very
mm.
sparse, fair, far few in between.
Hey, well, first of all, like, what was the differences, I guess, in the way that people dance? Was it like, was there a different local flavor? Or do you feel like it was kind of like McDonald's? You're like, oh, cool, I know exactly what I'm getting.
I think because they're yeah, it's like McDonald's because the dance is yeah, because for fusion, it's more like how can there's certain scenes that have different flavors or they infuse different styles more, or you can
Mm,
tell there's more of a certain influence, right? We see that a lot, usually like swing or blues influenced
yeah.
um from places we've been. But yeah, but it's like salsa is
Mm.
what you get. Maybe you get a salsa on too, but and then bachata is pretty straightforward.
Oh, so it's mostly like on one, like,
That's how I felt. Yeah, or
yeah,
Cuban salsa, which is like you count.
circular, hella arms,
Yeah.
lots of loopy loopy arm locks and
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm. Yep,
Oh,
yep. That was it, really. So it's kinda like, yeah, similar to LA, but you know what was cool, though, in UAE when I went to that place? Um, it was cool being able to dance with people from I remember this, like, older gentleman, almost like older uncle, not quite grandpa age, but I was like, "Oh, wow, where are you from?" And he said he's from Iran. I remember thinking, like, do they have salsa classes there? Or is it more like you moved here and then you learned salsa? And there's what's it called? I had a great dance with a guy from Syria, and then another
mm,
great dance with a guy from India. So that like the travel part of me geeked out, being like, wow, this is amazing.
yeah,
People from
yeah.
all over the world. So it was $18 to get in. You get a free drink, right? So I was just like, yeah, they don't they have wine and beer. It's not, but I think, it's not common to drink alcohol. You can. It's
Hmm.
usually at like Western hotels.
I was gonna say, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a Marriott, right? So I get like my pina colada. It's in this tiny glass. I thought it was gonna be one of those big, like frosty ones that you drink at the beach.
Mhm.
Anyways, so hours later, because salsa and bachata, especially salsa, it's such like a high cardio dance. So I'm super thirsty and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bar and get a bottle of water. I'm expecting $4 to $5, right? They're like, it's $10. I remember being like, never mind, I'm not thirsty anymore. And another thing that I'm so grateful for back in the States is that there we can drink our tap water. There's water fountains.
Ten
People don't realize
dollars,
a lot of countries don't have tap water, like where it's safe or like
dog.
clean or whatever. I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'll just dehydrate myself and just dance for a few more hours.
Straight up, straight up. At that point, I'm gonna just be a fruit roll up. Like I'm not $10, dog. 10. If
Yeah.
that water doesn't hydrate every cell in my body and raise my credit score, I'm fighting someone. 10.
Okay, and the thing is, I remember looking at the employee, and so one thing that's interesting about the Middle East is
Yeah.
okay, uh, a lot of people because of the media thinks it's so dangerous there and all that kind of stuff. In the Gulf countries, a certain area, they're so rich, right? So the locals now that's kind of a bit off tangent, but the locals are rich because they have oil and the government. I found out like the government gives the locals money. Like imagine getting $20,000 a month, and then on top of that, your salary. So it's like I feel like people are like, "Oh, it's so dangerous there," but a lot of them, they're living a retired life. But it's just,
Mm.
like, mind-boggling. Anyways, that was the main surprise I had over there.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so the people that work, like, in service industries, the bar, cafes, at the malls and stuff, they're all immigrants. So a lot of Indians and Filipinos. A lot of Indians, like, a lot. Anyways, so I remember looking at she looked like Filipino. I looked at her, I was like, $10? And she gave me a look like, "Yeah, I know." Understood my pain. And I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then I walked away. Anyways, so that's that. I danced with someone from Colombia, a great bachata dance.
Ooh.
This person from Austria, we did kizomba. He felt more like a fusion kizomba person. And it's weird because there's some people I didn't get. Granted, I don't know kids really well at all. So I struggled a lot. Um, but then with him, I was able to, I don't know how to describe it. I was able to get what he was trying to tell me to do. So I was
Yeah.
like, am I Am I bad or am I just confused? I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
but no, for real though. I and luckily this guy he gave me pointers because he was like, you step because I was trying to do the leg sweeps out of habit from like tango. And so
Hmm.
he was just teaching me you just step, you literally like step, step, walk, walk like that. And so that was really nice and stuff. Every and in UAE people, everyone there, it's comfortable, everyone it's westernized. It's really comfortable and people speak English. So that's great. In Turkey, they do not speak English, which I will get to that. And there's someone from Spain I had great salsa dance with as well. So I think it was so cool being able to um, be just in an international place. And the guy from Syria, he had really good musicality. I don't know. I think I'm starting to appreciate musicality more as a dancer now that I feel a little bit like bored or plateaued sometimes with my dance.
Hmm.
And so I feel like when a lead does either playful or cool or just any type of musicality, it allows me to tap in as well. Kind of like
Yeah.
I'm having fun or I'm hearing these notes, and then you can too, you know. So I just
Hmm.
kind of add along. Like if they're being musical with it, I feel like I can too. But if someone's looks like they're focusing too much and just trying to get steps, I
Yeah.
don't want to throw them off with my musicality.
I get
So
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Wow. Okay. Do you feel like when you're dancing with people, especially people who are like, maybe they're hyper focused and they're like locked in, that it kind of makes you focus on your dancing as well? Or do you feel like you're just like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know how to read you. Like, what do you want?
I locked in at them just focused.
Yeah, locked in focus. It's what the kids say, you got to be hip.
Mm,
Mm.
I think I think for me, it makes me want to be more focused as well. Maybe you know what? It's kind of like when you're in tango, they look so focused,
Fierce.
and I'm like, okay, this is not the time for me to be playful and silly. I feel like
Mm.
it's like
Yeah.
so. I guess you can matching this music vibe and also the vibe of the partner. But if there's someone in fusion that is being very silly and playful, we know that person in our LA dance scene that has a great laugh. And there's a tango song. I will
Hmm.
be silly with him. So in Turkey, apparently tango is really big here, but I couldn't find any milongas. And again, it's one of those things where like it seems like if you know their Instagrams and stuff like that, you will find it. But again, it wasn't easy to find on a search engine, whatever. So I was lucky to find like one place that was doing like Latin dances, right? So you get a discount. I had to use Google Translate because it was all in Turkish. And so it just says like you get a discount if you mention the name of a teacher. And so I got there on time, but apparently I was early. And then this girl was with me. And so she didn't speak any English. So we just started chatting over Google Translate, thank goodness. And she said, oh, just use my teacher's name so you can get a discount. So I was like, okay. And so I used the name to get a discount to get in. Um, and the class was at 10:30 p.m. It was that late, and then the social started, like, maybe 11:30, and it lasts until 3 AM. And so they're teaching the bachata class, there's only a bachata class right here, all in Turkish. So I realized so sometimes I zone off in class, this it sounds bad, as a follow because I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna follow, I can look at it once or twice and then just follow based on what my lead how they move me," right? So there's some parts where I didn't get, I guess you can say like choreography sort of. And this guy, and I can't tell the difference between like Eastern Europeans, right? So this guy, he asked me like, "Do you know what they're saying?" And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Do I look like I would know? Do I look like I know based on my face? Turkish." Anyways, and I looked at him because he looked like he could be from Turkey. I was like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Hungary." I'm like, "Oh, so we both, when they're rotating parties, but we were both looking at the instructors like trying so hard to understand what they're saying, and it's like your brain has to work 2 to 3 times as hard to just to like see and look and try to at the same time understand the tone of what they're speaking in their own language too. But it's mainly like you can't like blink. I felt like I couldn't blink because or else I would miss something. And on the social dance floor, sometimes I'll ask, especially from people that I feel more comfortable with, like, "Oh, can you show me that?" Or if I didn't get a
Yeah,
move, I'll be
yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah,
can you
yeah.
just quickly show me that move?" Because if they'll do it twice on me and I'm not getting it, I know it's something like vocab I don't know. But here, I would say it just out of like habit, be like, "Oh, can you show me?" And the leads would give me a look like, "Huh?" Because most of them
Yeah.
didn't speak English, so it was different in the fact that I was like, I have to just accept the dance as it is and move on, just keep
Ooh.
going. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you feel like after a certain point that made you more present in your dancing because you couldn't have like a side commentary? Or do you feel like it was just something that you're like, oh man, no, I wish I could talk to, I wish
That one.
I could kind of get to that level. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was just more of like, oh, I wish I can communicate with you
Mhm.
with English right now. Just like just even like a because there's it's different when someone knows a little English and someone that knows no English at all. And because someone that doesn't know any English, it's like you can't even have a conversation, you know.
Mhm.
So
Well, I
other
guess you got
than
to learn Turkish.
yeah, I guess so.
Do you feel like you got to pick up anything that was like different though from especially from like an intuitive level? Because like for example, right, like you're dancing with people who, you have a clear language barrier, but you have the barrier of or not the barrier, you have the channel of like nonverbal stuff, right? You can motion with your hands, maybe you high five, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, eye contact, right? Like do you feel like there was anything there that you're like, oh, I need to make sure I high five a lot?
You mean like after
Or
the
like,
dance?
yeah, during, after, in the middle.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think it's hard to say because these are people I've danced for the first time, right?
Hmm.
So I think in general, just smiling to make sure, because I feel like if you're smiling, you look like you're having fun, then the other person, whether they're beginner, intermediate, advanced, then they feel like they're having fun with you. I think
Mm.
it's more so of that, making people feel comfortable in that sense. Some people don't feel, I don't want to say I feel obligated to do that, but I just know, how do I say this without sounding so like, ooh, mushy? Not like, I think the energy we leave with people, I think our energy really does affect people. You know, um, when you're dancing with someone that's apathetic, like, okay, not everyone can have a great day. Not everyone can be perky and hyper. Sometimes the song doesn't call for it, but you can tell when someone doesn't want to go on a date with you and they're just there to be there. That's one of the not so great feelings I've had before on the dance floor.
I mean, I think you pay more attention to those things because there's a language barrier, since you can't necessarily like ask a question or like,
Right.
hey, that was such a great dance, right?
Yeah.
You have to kind of like read the person at such a base level,
Hmm.
where you're like, oh, are they smiling? Do they look like they're having a good time? Do they look like they're trying to pass a kidney stone right now? Like, oh, maybe they're not enjoying this, right?
Yeah. There was one guy where I didn't enjoy the dance, and it was because 80% of the dance was body rolls. He was just rolling my body and in bachata, and it kind of hurt. It kind of
Yeah,
like it not hurt, but like you're like my back is getting tired. I don't even know if I'm even rolling correctly, but
yeah.
I remember for most of the dance, I did not move my feet. It was a lot of rolls. And I remember thinking like it kind of just felt kind of lazy in a way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know like sometimes people are learning. You can tell. I think he based on the connection, the feeling, he was probably like still in the learning process, but it was probably the most body rolls I've ever done in one
Oof.
night. Yeah.
Were there different roles or were they all the same role? Like did he
Oh,
go
they're
north,
usually like
south,
the
east,
common.
west? Right? He's like dun dun dun. Then hits like the dun dun
No,
dun dun
it's like the common ones that you
dun
see
dun.
in bachata, and whatnot. The kids' room it was a lot less people, and
Mm,
I'm not sure. You know how they have like in tango, you dance with the same person like 3, 4 songs in a row. I
yeah.
saw that in Kids, and I was like,
I
how do
see
I?
that in Kiss too, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. I don't. I wish there was like a cheat sheet I had. So, anyways, I go in there. There's maybe like 6 couples only dancing, and they keep dancing with each other. And I remember being like, can I like get some practice in here?
Yeah.
Anyone? So there's one guy I use Google Translate and I was like, "Hi, I'm new to Kizomba." And he's like, "Okay, okay." So and you granted
Okay,
like
okay.
he danced with me and stuff like that. And I was like, "Thank you." And I try to dance with other people, but they kept dancing with their friend or whoever, their partner, whatever, for a long time. And it was to the point where I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna leave this room because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just standing here."
Dude, yeah. I think that happens a lot, like when I go to different events, especially when I go to like a Kiss event or an event that has kids, it's harder to dance around the room because you're just there and people are dancing for like four dances and you're like,
Yeah, it's the thing. If
can
anyone
I
here,
get in there? Can I get a dance in? Is that cool? Like,
yeah, it's like if anyone here listening dances to Kids, please let me know. So I definitely felt awkward. I was like, I did a thing where it was in the room that was by the window, so you could see the overview of the city, and I was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy the view for a bit. And then I turned around and I was like, when the next song came on, I was like, oh man, no one moved or changed partners or anything, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll just take another view of the city. So I look like I'm enjoying my time. And like, you know how they
Uh,
say, like, be present, be in the moment. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, anyways. So eventually I gave up and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's
What
real.
what's good is the water there. The water bottle at the bar costs only $1 though.
Yeah, that's an improvement.
That's nice. And oh, I think hands down best AC I've ever been in.
Mm,
It was like a corporate building too, but it was hands down the best AC.
mhm.
And
Is it like super hot during the day, or is it just kind of like,
oh, actually I went so it was September, so I went during like actually a good time. Like during the day it
mm,
was maybe high of 73, 75
oh,
degrees.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really lovely. Like ideal time to go. But that wasn't on purpose though. The girl that was at the front door with me, she turns out she only started maybe 2 months ago. So
Mm,
she was, I could tell like she was in that beginner phase where you're kind of dancing a little bit clunky. You're kind of like unsure when someone's putting you into like a certain pattern or movement. And so we just kept Google translating back and forth to each other. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you dance so like you dance so well and yada yada." Yada." And I just told her I was like, "Keep up with it." I felt like I had a breakthrough during like month 3, month 4. Sometimes it's not you, could be the lead, and keep going to dance socials. You'll learn a lot and learn what it feels like dancing with different people and having different
yeah.
connections. So I
Mhm.
was just like, keep up with it. Honestly, using Google Translate back and forth took a long time because you have to type and then you're just waiting for them and then you read and you're like, ah, and then they type back, all that kind of stuff. But I think what was nice is, salsa bachata and kids, it is one it's like a certain dance with certain moves and whatnot. So it's cool being able to see it being danced all around the world. I feel like
Yeah.
salsa bachata is I don't know if it's like the most dominant social dance in the world, but when I was in South America and then like again Middle East and Turkey here, it's like that's what I could find,
Mhm.
whereas swing isn't everywhere. Maybe it's in certain cities, certain regions of uh, based on I don't know history and where it's traveled to and whatnot or availability. One thing I liked about this traveling to other countries and just going to dance socials is that feeling I had at the very beginning of my dance journey where I was a nobody. I
Mm.
was a complete stranger. No one knew me. I was gonna just come in and bounce, like scouting. It was like I remember when I started in LA, I just wanted to scout different venues to see which venues had like free water, great AC, good parking, easy parking. Um, and so I would just go to these venues just to check out the dance scene, and that was it. No one knew me. I was like an undercover agent. That's what I felt like. And for here, there was like no attachment in a way. It was kind of like, sometimes it is nice to definitely have like a community to come to and be like, oh yeah, I love dance. I remember like I love dancing with so and so and so and so, like and just seeing them at dance socials. But once in a while, I like to just not be out in the woods because but just, you know, be a stranger, be a student,
Yeah.
be a nobody you know, I don't want to say be an equal as everyone else, but yeah, just I really liked that sense of being a nomadic dancer and being a nobody. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. It's like sometimes it can be, I mean, as you said, I love community and I love going into places where you know people and they know you. It's like you're a regular, right? But there's something about being able to show up and kind of melt in the background and just observe and absorb and be present and kind of just be part of the room, you know? It's just different when no one knows you, you don't know anyone there, and you can just kind of like sit and enjoy and observe and just be. So yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different. Yeah, I feel what you're talking about. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I had, I guess, like one major takeaway from this dance experience, I guess,
Mm,
but it came when I was having dinner that some countries are homogenous. So, like for example, the Middle East, it's they have the same religion, the same culture, um, and in a way, it is peaceful or can be perceived peaceful or feels peaceful because they have the same thoughts, ideologies, lifestyles, and customs, right? So that's similar to having a specific dance style. So these dances, they have these patterns, they have like, there's these rules. You do it like
mhm.
this,
Yeah.
whether it's the counts or the steps, other places like the US have different cultures. There's a mix of different ideas, discussions on the table. It's not homogenous, but because of that, there's a likelihood of friction, misunderstandings, and more. And that is similar to fusion, where when it's done well, fusion can be very beautiful, innovative, and inspiring. But because it's like a mixing pot of ideas,
Yeah.
like a mixing pot here in the US. But because of that, there can be misunderstandings and even the idea of like what is fusion brings up debates. You know,
Yeah.
what is the
Yeah.
concept? What's the ideology? And versus, again, back to those specific dance styles, like this is how you dance it. This is what maybe there might be variations because obviously you can see the progression of like West Coast swing becoming like different over time. But yeah, that was an analogy that came to my mind when I was sitting one day at dinner.
That's good. That's really good.
Mm.
I think a lot of the time in our sort of in our world as fusion dancers, but also as like Americans, we see the mixing, we see the blending more often, I think, as a positive thing. But if you're not used to it, right? Like if that's not something that you come from or like not, your norm, it can be a shock in a lot of ways, and it can be really chaotic, like that conversation of like, what is fusion? That right there. Everyone has a definition, and everyone is also like, you can't define it. It's a thing that it's, I'm sure many late night parking lot Denny's conversations around the fusion community have been sparked by that. And I see the beauty in mixing and blending, but also there are things that you just can't get that having a consistent something allows you. Like you can go deeper, for example, into salsa if that's all you're doing, right? Like if that's all the people around you are doing, you can go so deep into it that it becomes this sort of almost want to say it's like digging in the same spot. You can go to a deeper depth where it just becomes something different at that depth. Versus with fusion, you're combining and trying all of these different ideas and seeing what works, and you're having these different combinations and stuff, you know. But it's really cool that you got to go and explore and experience the world of dance in the world.
More to come wherever I end up going. I think the only continents I have left is Africa and Antarctica. So Antarctica,
Yeah.
I don't know, gotta see what the penguins got there. So we'll see. Maybe some
Uh, it's probably a
tap
lot of
dancing.
blues,
Tap
you
dancing.
know. Oh, that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see that.
Tap dancing in blues, I guess.
That's it. It's a lot of micro. We're gonna have
As
to
you can
pay
see,
for
we
oxygen.
struggle with outros sometimes. So with that, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. And also, if you have just 1 minute, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify. It will really help us. And check us out on social media at Fusion Dance Podcast or our dance school at Fusion University. We also included a resource of all the places to go dance socialing here in LA. It's gonna be in the show notes. So thank you for being here with us, and we'll see you next time.